Okay. 7:30. Today is October 4th. We're located in the Village Chambers, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Tierney.
Present.
Trustee Abraham is absent. Trustee Senior is absent. Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Armour.
Here.
Trustee Chalmalabi.
Here.
Trustee Miller.
Here.
And Madam President, this time we have a quorum. I do have calls from Trustee Abraham, who will be in attendance. She's just running late.
Okay, and then we need to make a motion to allow Trustee Chalmalabi to participate electronic. She's working tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Armour, to allow Trustee Chalmalabi to participate by electronic device. Take a roll call. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
Trustees Abraham Senior are absent. Trustee Chalmalabi.
Yes.
And Madam President, that carries 4-0. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you. Can we all please have a moment of silence? All right, thank you. Public comment, item 2. Madam President, I have received none. So we'll go ahead to item 3, communications. Got quite a few, so bear with me. All right, first communication. The Village of Broadview has a storm management program plan as a part of its municipal separate storm sewer system, the MS4. This program involves public outreach as well as the elimination of illicit discharge into the village waterways. Copies of the presentation are available for distribution and have been placed on the village website for review. If anyone has any further questions on the information, please don't hesitate to contact our engineer, Chris Baker, which is with Hancock Engineering, at cbaker@ehancock.com. Change starts with you. Applications are being received for the blueline.com. This is for the police department. The deadline is October 13th, 2021. Must apply online at www.theblueline.com. That's www.theblueline.com. Mandatory orientation and written exam will be Saturday, October 30th. Those interested? Okay, disregard the last line. All right, thank you. Next, LK Manufacturing Job Fair, Friday, October 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We are hiring polishers. The rate is $16.18 an hour. Benefits include medical, dental, vision, 401k match, profit sharing, vacation time, holiday pay, and more. LK is located at 2700 South 17th Avenue, Broadview, Illinois. And I have a flyer. I'll make those available for anyone needing to get more information from their website, which is www.lk.com/careers. Mayor Katrina Thompson presents a drive-by shred day, Saturday, October 16th, 2021, 9 a.m. to noon, right here at Village Hall, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Bring your bags and boxes of paper to be shredded in minutes, right on site. Shredathon rules: all donors must stay in their vehicles. Village employees will handle all documents, papers to be shredded. There will be no watching of items being shredded by donors. Village employees working at the event will be required to wear masks. Cardboard boxes cannot be left at the event. Residential shredding only, no commercial shredding. For more information, please call 708-681-3600. And lastly, meet and greet our new police chief, Thomas Mills. Saturday, October 23rd, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Over at the Broadview Park District, Schroeder Park, located at 2600 South 13th Avenue. Face masks are required for vaccinated and unvaccinated attendees. That concludes our communication. Next is item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the September 20th, 2021 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Well, can I make a motion that we table it until the next meeting? Because I just got these minutes. I didn't have a chance to look at it.
Superseding.
Oh, superseding motion.
We don't have an approved motion, so.
Is that possible? I make a superseding motion for us to table these minutes until the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, this motion has been superseded by trustee Armour and seconded by trustee Miller to table these minutes until when? The next board meeting? Till the next board meeting. And I will say this, I did get these late. I assumed that I had sent these. I did the minutes this morning, thought I sent them and I failed to send them. So I apologize for that. I can certainly understand this and I would have done the same thing. So we'll take a roll call vote. Trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Armour,
Yes.
trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustees Abraham and Senior are absent. Trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
and it carries 4-0 to table to our next board meeting. Thank you. Next item 5, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total of all funds, $357,269.89.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Armour, seconded by trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney, Chairman of the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes, I will. This is the warrant list for 9/29/21. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $145,527.29. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $88,066.94. Geno's Heating and Plumbing, Inc., $39,639.50. Grasso Graphics, Inc., $3,736.54. H&H Electronic Company, $9,522.06. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $6,933.31. Macero Investments, Inc., $3,305. Mecca Tree Service, Inc., $10,000. Mid-American Water, $4,104.32. National Power Rodding Corporation, $6,025. Olt Construction LLC, $3,112.50. Total expenditures over 2,500 is $319,972.46. Total expenditures is $357,269.89. There's also a electronic check for Keith Caldwell in the amount of $279. And the funds came out of the following accounts. General Fund, $211,749.55. Garbage Fund, $1,184.58. Motor Fuel Tax Fund, $64,972.94. CDBG Fund, $146. Roosevelt Road Tip Fund, $5,052. Water and Sewage Fund, $74,164.82. Again, for a grand total of $357,269.89. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you. And just for a point of clarity, the manual check for Keith Caldwell was a replacement check. So check number 81562 was put in the wrong vendor name. And so we made it right with check number 81605, just for clarity on the manual check. Trustee Chamalave, you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Trustee Tierney?
No questions.
Trustee Armor?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No question.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham is absent. Trustee Senior, absent. Trustee Armor?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalabi?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, it carries 4-0 to pay the bills. Thank you. Next item, item 6, old business, we have none. Item 7, new business. A, Pillars Community Health Proclamation. Madam President?
Thank you. So this is a health proclamation. Ellen, who's here tonight, had came a couple of months ago as it relates to the proclamation, and I just didn't get around to it, but I will read the proclamation.
Okay, 1 second, Madam President. Madam Attorney, correct me if I'm wrong. Do we not need a motion and a second to?
No, you don't.
No, it's just a proclamation.
Okay,
So
thank
as
you.
it's a proclamation, just can be read into the record.
Okay, Madam.
Okay, so the Pillars Community Health Proclamation on behalf of the Village of Broadview, whereas January 24th, 1921, Marion Jean McLeod was hired as the first community nurse in LaGrange to conduct weekly well baby clinics, and Dr. Gay Gardner, a volunteer physician, and whereas local welfare associations joined forces on May 20th, 1928 to begin providing social services to Berwyn families. And whereas Pillars Community Health has demonstrated a tireless commitment to meet the challenging needs of the most vulnerable residents of the western suburbs of Chicago, including piloting behavioral health programs in the 1950s, launching dental services in the 1960s, and opening a domestic violence shelter in the 1970s, and sexual violence services in the 1980s, all at a reduced cost or no cost to all patients. And whereas Pillars Community Health has long recognized the inseparability of health and social determinants of health, and has helped lead the integration of physical, mental, and social services as far as the Great Depression. And most recently in 2018, when they became one of the first organizations in Illinois to offer these integrated services under one banner. And whereas Pillars Community Health believes collaboration and outreach are necessary to achieve social and health equity, and has a history of working in partnerships with dozens of area hospitals, schools, faith-based organizations, police departments, and nonprofits. And whereas Pillars Community Health relies on more than 200 volunteers to run the domestic and sexual violence hotlines and childhood bereavement programs, and employs more than 250 staff, including doctors, dentists, social workers, and mental health clinicians. And whereas Pillars Community Health mission is to improve the health of our communities and empower individuals through compassionate, whole person care, and their vision is one of the communities in which all people have access to the care they need and when they need it. Therefore, I, Katrina R. Thompson, Mayor of Village of Broadview, do hereby commend Pillars Community Health on their 100th anniversary and offer my gratitude for positive contributions they have made to the community. We thank you, and if you guys, just to make it more closer to home and so broad, we do have the living room right here in the Village of Broadview, who's a partner of Pillars. And the police department utilized the living room as it relates to a lot of mental illness that take place with an officer in the field, as well as we have had our own residents utilize their services, whether it was here or in LaGrange. So I just want to say thank you guys for your partnership, and congratulations on 100 years of celebrating the services that you provide to our community every single day. So thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Tierney, would you like to say anything?
And I'll just thank you for the hard work that you guys provide. We know it's not easy, but we need something like that in town, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Palmer?
Thank you very much for all of the wonderful services that you're rendering to the community in this regard. I was just over at Pillars a couple of weeks ago for the community ambassadors, and I saw how, your facility over there, and thank you so much for giving, and congratulations on your 100-year anniversary. That's a long time doing the same thing in the community, and it's so needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions and comments.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Congratulations on your 100 years.
Thank you. So we have the proclamation, the clerk has it, and we can give it to you. So thank you, Ellen, for everything that you do for us.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. Okay, on to item B, a resolution authorizing and approving the collective bargaining agreement with the Broadview Professional Firefighters Union, IAFF Local 5129, for the firefighters and paramedics bargaining unit with the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Armour, seconded by trustee Tierney. Madam President?
Thank you. So this is for the fire department, for the firefighters and those that's lieutenant rank, correct, chief? Correct. And so I just want to say that I'm happy that we came to an agreement on this collection bargaining. And we've been going back and forth for, I don't know, probably the last 90 days, if not more. But I do want to say, you know, under the leadership of Chief Kenny, when you talk about collective bargaining, it's not an easy conversation to have. I don't care what side of the fence you're on, because everybody wants something. The administration wants something as well as the staff wants something. And I have to say, Chief Kenny really works really hard to help them understand the position of the administration. And when I say the administration, that's talking about me and the people that I legislate with, so that it makes sense for everybody and what's best for Broadview, not a particular department or a particular person, but what's best for Broadview and what we can afford. And so when we got into the height of the pandemic, no one took a raise. Everybody was zero across the board, whether you were in fire, police, building, public works, administration, no one took a raise. And so when they negotiated this, I just want to commend them on working with the village, because we did negotiate a 0 for last year, a 1% for this year, and a 1% for next year. And then in 2023, we'll come back to the table to have the conversation as it relates to how we look at economics for our collective bargaining for fire. And so I want to commend the staff that works on the collective bargaining for the fire department. Thank you, because it means a lot to me that you want to work with administration, even when I know the conversation is it don't always feel good. I know it don't, and we all want something. I don't care if you on that side of the fence or if you're on our side of the fence, we all want something. And I can say that I live in Broadview, and so it's going to be very challenging, because I'm going to always want something more to give back to my community that I live in. And no one in the fire department lives in Broadview but the chief. So it's going to always be that conversation on what's best for Broadview, because I look at it from the lenses of a resident, because we have to pay the salaries, we have to pay the benefits, we have to pay into the pension. We have to pay for all the training and the tools that you all need. We have to pay for your uniform. So it's a conversation that we all have to have that's fair and equitable across the board. So for me, I look at it, what's fair for all employees, because all employees deserve some type of increase at some point. I think it's fair that all employees get training at some point. I think it's fair that we offer the same quality of education, those that want to go higher learning, whether they want to go for an AA, a BA, or a master's degree. We should be able to do that across the board for all employees, not because you're in a particular department. And so when we look at negotiations, that's what I look at. I look at the bigger scope of things on how we can make this work for all departments, even though all departments uniquely are different. I get that, but I just want to say thank you for working with administration on this. And thank you, Chief, for, educating your team on what this looked like on this side, because you're part of management. So you know what we look at when we look at budgets, you know what we're looking at when we're talking about education and giving incentives and those types of things. So if it wasn't for your leadership, we probably would still be in negotiations. So thank you. I don't know if we had a motion in a second.
We did have a motion by
motion
trustee
and a
Armour and
second.
seconded by
Okay.
trustee Tierney.
So trustee Chalmalave, you have any questions about the firefighter and paramedic bargaining unit agreement?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you, trustee Tierney.
Yes, is this the union president?
Vice President.
Vice president, okay. Well, my thanks go out to you, knowing what you've gone through. I went through it many years ago, so I understand that back and forth. But again, you appreciate what the village has done and what they're gonna do. And when you come up and you ask for a ridiculous amount, it's not gonna happen, and there's tension. This was fair, and it surprised me that when I opened it up and saw it, that that's what you guys wanted, that's what you got, and that's a good start for the future. Thank you, thank the guys in the department and Chief Kenny Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, the transition was very easy. We had a good relationship back and forth with the chief from the local membership and the administrative. So it was pretty smooth and effortless for the most part because the transition.
Good. We'll
And
keep
we
the,
changed chief to he, she, and him her. Which I think is one of the biggest.
we'll keep those relationships going because
Yes.
that's what we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Armor,
No question, no problem.
trustee Miller.
No questions. I'm just glad to see that we're finally at a resolution. When I was looking at the actual dates of the start, I was like, oh my God, it's almost 2 years later. So that lapse in time kind of makes things a little nerve wracking, especially when you're on this side of the house and you're looking at dates. Clearly, it's clear when I look at dates and cost. So I'm glad to see that there were no costs back end associated with the last year. 0% works great for me.
That's it?
That's all.
That's it, trustee Miller?
That's all.
Oh. So again, thank you and thank the team over in the fire department. It really means a lot to the administration and it means more to the community of Broadview. It means a lot to the residents that we can work together to come to a solution. So thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam President, roll call. Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Abraham and Senior are absent. Trustee Armor,
Yes.
trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
trustee Miller.
Yes.
Madam President, this carries 4-0. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next item C, a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for the 2021 water main replacement project for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. Chris, you want to tell us about this agreement?
Sure.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
So
evening.
this is the project that's been ongoing for a while. It's aptly named the 2020 IEPA water main improvements because that's when it started. The village secured a low-interest IEPA loan for these water main improvements and actually received some principal forgiveness, portion of the loan that they don't have to pay back. So that's good news. Even better news is the village is advertising the construction contract in the local paper on Wednesday. Because of the funding, there's requirements that it has to be advertised for 45 days. So there's a bid opening scheduled for, I believe, November 24th, where a contractor will be secured and construction is expected to start probably February or March with some of the underground work in 2022. And this contract is for the construction engineering to oversee the construction aspects.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney, you have any questions or
I have
comments?
no questions.
Trustee Chamalave?
I have no question.
Thank you. Trustee Armor?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
Just for clarity, it wasn't that we were failing to make the second. I kind of stalled because I was waiting to see if the committee was gonna do the
No
the
worries.
motion there. So
I don't think there's anybody here.
I know I'm not on it. So I was just kind of stalling out for that. So just for clarity for the residents.
Yeah.
But no other questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Abraham and Senior are absent. Trustee Armor,
Yes.
trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this carries 4-0. Thank you all. Next item D, an ordinance authorizing and approving an execution of a quitclaim deed, a bill of sale, a release of covenants, conditions, restrictions, and easements contained in warranty deed dated June 28, 1955, and related closing documents for the covenants of certain real property to the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency pursuant to an intergovernmental agreement.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. Attorney Jaruski, you want to talk about this because it's kind of complicated.
It is a little complicated, so I hope everyone can hear me okay. Trustee Chalmalave, I hope you can hear me okay. Basically, we were contacted by the attorney for the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Action Agency and asked to bring this item to the board. Westchester has passed a similar resolution for their, or similar ordinance rather, for their side of the property. And now Broadview has to pass one for our side of the property. Essentially what it is that when this intergovernmental agreement was originally entered into many years ago, there was some property that was supposed to be conveyed both by Westchester to the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Action Agency as well as by Broadview to the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Action Agency. However, that was not done by either party. So now the Water Action Agency needs to make some improvements to the system, and they want to build a new reservoir to help the waterworks system. And to enable them to do that, they need to have this property deeded to them because the property as it currently is has certain covenants on it where they couldn't do things on it. But once we quit claim deed that over to them, that clears up those covenants, which will then allow them to build this reservoir. So previously, these covenants prevented the building of any sort of reservoir. However, the law has changed since that agreement was first entered into, and I believe it was 2008. The law has changed, and now they not only can build the reservoir, but they basically have to build the reservoir, is my understanding. And so in order to enable the Water Action Agency to build this reservoir, to continue to provide the communities of Broadview and Westchester, sort of an additional filtration system, if you will, that the water would go through to get distributed to the residents, they need this additional reservoir. And so the attorney, Mr. Jerusik, sent these ordinances over to the various communities and said, you guys are members of this, could you please consider passage of this ordinance? And our office did review it, and our office recommends passage of this ordinance.
And so just so the board know, Westchester Village Board has already approved theirs.
Correct.
We just need to approve ours. Their meeting was last.
Correct. And the schedule is, I believe that they're going to be, and when I say they, I mean the Water Action Agency, they're going to be closing on the properties, or they're hoping to close by the end of the month so they can get everything moving. As to the construction, they, like us, would have to go out to bid on things and do certain things to make sure the construction is done correctly. So they need time to get all that in line.
But how much are we spending? How much does it cost?
There's no cost to anybody except for the $10 for the quitclaim deed.
I saw the $10.
Yeah, that's it.
was
I mean,
like,
obviously,
really?
each party needs to pay their own respective attorneys and anything like that. But aside from attorney's fees, that there is no cost except for the $10 recording fee that's common with quitclaim deeds. So it's an extremely nominal fee.
Thank you, Attorney Jerusik. Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Chalmalave?
Sorry, I'm on mute.
You have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
No comment, no questions.
Trustee Armor, you asked your question. Do you have any further questions?
I don't understand it still. I mean, I understood what you said, but I don't really understand it for myself. I mean, we've gone all the way back to 1955. So I probably will have to, I don't want to hold anything up either, but I'm just saying that I don't quite get it.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
So I understand the process. I'm just kind of taken aback that it's taken us so long. It's not like we didn't know what was going on with the property prior. So prior, when I was on the board formerly, I think that was one of the things we brought up about Pioneer Park, who actually owned it. What could we do with it? I'm sorry, Legion Park, not Pioneer, Legion Park. Which, so that everyone knows, that's the park that's on 10th and 11th off of Roosevelt Road. And literally it was just like, oh, the village owns it and, we should be fine with this, that, or another. And nobody ever attempted to address, like, does the Water Rec District own this or things of that nature? So it's not like it's completely new, considering that we're talking about something from 1958. Like my counterpart here, I'm still not certain on how all this works. I appreciate your explanation just now, but yeah, this was thrown in just a little too quick for me.
So let me just add this, because I am on the Broadview Joint Water Agency Board, and as it relates to land, so when they made the deal to combine the agency Broadview and Westchester, it was like a handshake deal. So back in 1955, they made it right, but they didn't actually put the liens in place on who owned what. And so when you talk about Legion Park and the property, who owns, did the village own it, did the park district own it? Neither one of, well, the village of Broadview and the village of Westchester owns the property. But I recall from me being the park director at the park district, when it came to us utilizing that for Little League Baseball, that's when it was brought to our attention that the park district didn't own it. The village had some ownership in it, but we didn't know what parcels or what land, and nobody wanted to spend the money. The village didn't want to spend the money to go after to find out the liens. So the water agency took it upon themselves to to find out who owned the property. So we paid for all of those necessary steps so that we can get a clean deed, so that we can enhance the water reservoir. The water reservoir impacts the village of Broadview. And so we have to make it right in order for them to build this reservoir. And so that's where we are right now, is because of this reservoir that we are required to have in place, because the city of Chicago stated that anything over 1 million gallons, we have to double that. Westchester have a reservoir, the village of Broadview does not. So if it's an emergency or a crisis, and we did a town hall meeting not too long ago as it relates to the reservoir, to talk about what that meant to the village of Broadview and what it meant to the water agency. Because we did get some pushback from Westchester residents, because they didn't feel that Broadview should get this reservoir, but we don't make the rules.
Yeah.
But we are a part of an outfit that was way before all of our time, and we have all these different conversations, but now that we've actually asked the attorney for the agency to do the homework as it relates to the who owns it, the leads, the PIN numbers, we've done all of that. Now it's time for us to clean it up to make it right, so that we know that this is property that belongs to the Broadview Joint Water Agency with the co-chairs of Broadview in Westchester. So this is something that should have been done a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I guess because it's a cost involved, the village of Broadview didn't want to pick up the tab, because it is a cost. I mean, we've paid some substantial amount of money just to get this process done on the water agency, so that it didn't fall on the backs of the village of Broadview or the village of Westchester.
And if I may, in addition to that, Mayor, that, we do have a contractual obligation under the existing intergovernmental agreement to have tendered this property over. It was already in, we obviously can't go back in time and figure out why it was never done, aside from, the history, obviously, that the mayor has provided as to why, people have not done what they needed to do to deed this property over. But now the water agency has done their due diligence. They did the title search. They got all the information. Liens are being cleaned up and things like that. So, that's kind of part of the whole process, is to get the title clean, and so that everything can be transferred, so that they can do this reservoir as they're required to do by IEPA regulations. So because of that, again, we do recommend that this be passed. The water agency is intending to close on everything at the end of the month and start getting everything moving. So in order to be in compliance with that timeline, we do recommend passage.
So Trustee Abraham just joined us at 8:04, and we're on the discussion item D, the ordinance to authorize the execution of the quick claim deed for the water agency. Do you have any questions or comments? Any other questions, Trustee Miller? No. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Senior is absent, Trustee Armour,
Abstain.
Trustee Chalmalabi,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
I'm literally torn about this. I know we're being kind of pushed to do it. I just don't think we've been educated enough to vote on it. I'm abstaining.
okay. And Madam President, this carries 5-0 with 2 abstentions. Thank you all. Next is item E, a resolution authorizing and approving a certain policy regarding mandatory vaccinations or an approved exemption against the coronavirus disease 2019, aka COVID-19, for the Village of Broadview employees, Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Tierney. Madam President,
Thank you. So the purpose of this policy is to be fair across the board for all employees that work within the Village of Broadview. It has been brought to our attention that the contracts that we have with Loyola and Madden in the VA, we are required, well, the fire department is required to be vaccinated or regularly screened. This policy, for those, I'm not a stickler for those that don't want to be vaccinated. I encourage everybody to be vaccinated. But I am a stickler that, we should have a policy that's fair across the board, no matter what department you work in. So if you choose not to get vaccinated, you will have to get regularly screened. And we are prepared to purchase the kits that we need to regularly screen employees. And so with that, and this policy clearly talks about that. As it relates to, we had some last minute changes on page 2, as it relates to this policy shall apply to volunteers, interns, consultants, contract personnel, independent contractors, personnel working on village premises who are employed by temporary agencies and or other governmental agencies doing business at the village or on village property, and any other persons, firms doing business for or with the village or on village-owned property. So this is just a health mandate for all people to be vaccinated. Our entire board is vaccinated. The majority of our employees are vaccinated here. I don't know who's not, and that's not really for me to know. But it is important that we all be vaccinated, not just for yourself, but to protect someone else. So that's what this policy is about. It's about being fair across the board with all employees. Since the fire department is required to have that for us to keep our contracts, I thought it was fair that we require that for all employees that works for the Village of Broadview. Trustee Tierney?
I'm not a big one either for making people get the vaccination, especially in today's climate. Nobody really knows what it's going to do, what it's not going to do. There's just too much to be answered out there. I do understand the fact that we have to protect the people, the residents and the workers here in the village. I'm torn on this one. I think it's a good thing. We all got vaccinated to show people that, look, this is okay. We did it as the leaders here. And for that, I commend everybody else who was up here and got it. But if I was to take another shot, I'd be kind of leery about doing the second shot. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not sure until a lot of questions are answered. And unfortunately, we're not hearing it out there. So, but I think for our residents and our community and the people that come and visit us, I think there's an option in here where you can do the, correct me if I'm wrong, there was something about either religious or medical or religious, if you feel that you don't need to have it. The request, if you're going to do that, has to be in by October 29th. It's not a lot of time. So if you're going to apply for that, get it in quick so you don't have to have any problems later on. Testing is going to be normal and mandatory. You're going to have to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to be allowed. That's all.
That's it. Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes, I also feel like Trustee Tierney, I'm a little torn about this because, we don't want to put mandates on people, especially when, I believe in personal choice. However, when you're serving the community, you have to do what's right by the community. And so, there are ways, there were accommodations that can be made, and they have to be done by October 29th. So, if there are those that believe that they fall into one of those categories, definitely get that paperwork in and get that done.
Thank you.
That's my comment.
Thank you, Trustee Chalmalave. Trustee Armour?
Well, I don't have a problem with mandates regarding this pandemic. I really don't have any problems with that because we have to keep ourselves safe. We have to keep, the people who work in the village safe. We have to, just do our due diligence when it comes to that. And this is it seems like, and a lot of companies are starting to do this actually, mandating the vaccine. And that's the only way we're going to get past this thing, It's important that as many people as possible get vaccinated. And I don't have a problem with the mandate.
Thank you, trustee Armour. Trustee Miller?
Well, on the flip side, I do have a problem with the mandate, but I'll say that I think I'm not gonna mirror what the other two trustees have said.
Thank you, trustee Abraham?
I definitely support what we need to be doing safety-wise for everybody that is working here in the village, as well as the general public. Again, I am a firm believer that it is a choice if you want to get that done. But when you look at how long we've been involved with this COVID situation, you definitely have to do your research. You have to be fully aware of how it does get transmitted. And I just think us being proactive for the safety of anybody coming into our building, as well as our employees, we owe it to them to, do the right thing and be safe and protect others and stop the spread. So, I think it was very well done, the packet regarding the vaccination policy. So I don't have any questions on it. I think it was just well put together, and I think we addressed a lot of things in it.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Abraham,
Yes,
trustee Senior is absent, trustee Armour,
Yes,
trustee Chalmalave,
Yes,
trustee Miller,
No,
and Madam President, this carries 4-1. Thank you. Next item, 8, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none. Item 9, village clerk report. Mine is real brief. I just want to state to everyone, I had an excellent time and training last week at the Illinois Municipal League Conference. Learned a lot as always. Got a chance to meet a lot of new people, including a slew of newly elected clerks and deputy clerks. I'm looking forward to training with them next week at the MCI conference down in Bloomington, Illinois, in which I'll spend 5 days training with different clerks. And I'm in my 3rd year of training, and this is the graduation year. So I will then be able to go on and be a certified clerk or a registered clerk, and then also higher designation. So I'm kind of proud of that. And I'm most proud that this is information that I can bring back to serve the village of Broadview. So as long as the residents will have me as clerk, I'm here to serve with the best intentions and the most knowledge that we can possibly get. I'm a strong believer in training for all. So thank the village for that. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Good.
Next is item 10, Village President, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. So good evening, everyone. I would like to say that I, as well as trustee Miller, trustee Armour, and Chalmalave attended the IML conference. And it's always good to know that you can legislate with people that you legislate with, and you have differences, but it don't trickle out into like something petty, like what we had several years ago. And so we really have a good board of elected officials. And I'm not saying it because I'm the mayor, I'm saying it because I hear the conversations. I'm in the rooms with the other elected officials and conversations that they have from the clerk and some chaotic stuff that's taking place with the clerk and the mayor's office not, in sync. And I can truly say I appreciate our clerk. We work seamlessly. And he makes my job that much easier. So it's a good feeling to know that we can go to conferences and people recognize us as working on one platform and all together. I don't look for nobody to be a yes person to me. I don't look for somebody to tell them what to do. I do not have conversations with none of the elected officials prior to our board meetings. If they have a question, I'll answer it. But pretty much I ask them to go directly to the department heads to get their questions answered. Such as this policy, this was a policy that I brought before the Board of Trustees, and they should have come to me and asked me about the policy. But that's how we operate as a board. You know, we let them talk to the department heads to get clarity on whatever the issues are. And when we have complicated issues like the one we had about the quick deed claim, that's a legal conversation that needs to take place, and we need to get that, you know, but we work really well together, and I'm happy about that because it shows in the work that we do. So thank you, trustees and Mr. Clerk, for your leadership. It means a lot, not just to me, but to the village of Broadview. You represent us very, very well, and I'm pleased to be the mayor of Broadview under these circumstances. This past weekend, we did our second annual Tour de Proviso, which was a big hit this year. I mean, we had, I don't know how many bicyclers, but we had a lot. We rode through Broadview, Maywood, Bellwood, and we ended in River Forest where they received us with a big layout of everything, but it was nice. And so Trustee Jones from the village of Maywood and I, we started this last year when I started riding with the community, and he would ride from Maywood to ride with us. And we just started brainstorming on like, how can we unite the community? And so I said, well, we could do a proviso bike ride and the mayors could take the lead on it, and I'll take the lead to get it going. Well, I had to take the lead this year too. But it's okay. And so we did that, and he and I, we just began to just get the ball rolling and stuff. So we had a couple of sponsors that helped us with some of the things that we wanted to give away. And so this year we had 4 more communities join us. We had Melrose Park, we had Riverside, we had River Forest, and we had Oak Park. And so I passed the torch this year to Riverside, the mayor of Riverside, Joe Ballerine. And so they're gonna plant it on that side. So when we talk about the side of the township, part of the Proviso Township is Brookfield, North Riverside, and maybe a small part of Riverside. It may not be Riverside, but it may be a small part. And so when we pass the torch, so he's gonna take it and we're gonna go over to that side of the township and ride through their community. And so what we're promoting is health and wellness, transportation, more bike lanes, as we identify, we need them in our community, and especially in the Black and brown community. You know, sometimes we're often forgot that, you know, I don't know what the perception is, we don't like to ride bikes, but we do. And so hopefully we can get more bike lanes in our community. But it also, this year we added to that platform tourism. And so tourism is a big deal. And the township we have such a rich history in this township. I'm not from Illinois, I'm not from the Proviso Township, but I do my own research on the richness of a community. And even though Broadview doesn't have any historical sites in the village, but around us we have rich history like the cemeteries. I don't know why people want to go visit them, but they do. But just think, if they go onto a hillside to visit the cemeteries and we got a local motel that's right here in town, people want to stay somewhere where they can go and be connected. We have the Blue Note. We have things that we can develop our own economic growth within our own communities by promoting that through transportation. And so the concept is us to put this on a bigger platform. So we're going to be working with Visit Oak Park, because Visit Oak Park is the tourism bureau for our township. And so we're going to be working with them to do it at a bigger level where we actually end up at different sites. So last year we had small business owners. Like this year we had small business owners. Sabrina Splash did flavored water for us to kick us off. And then when we got to Bellwood had a healthy oranges, apples, health bars. And then we went over to River Forest and they had it out where we had lunch there, but it wasn't healthy, but it was good. It was good. So, but the concept is to promote all of these things and bring people to our own communities to shop and spend money within our own communities instead of going to downtown, when they can come right here and, you know, they can have a nightlife in any given community. And when you look at Maywood, they got the Fran Hampton House. You know, they working to bring that house back up to, and that can be that's a museum. So that creates tourism within our own community, within our own borders. And we can house some of them at the Blue Note or the chicken shack, or, maybe they want to do some creative painting, and we have our own canvas painter that has a small business that's right here in town that we can promote to do something like that as we talk about these things. So this is our second annual. We look forward to this taking place. The 3 communities that started it was Bellwood, Broadview, and Maywood, and we are very proud to say that we started something that at this magnitude that it can go. We don't know what the limits are, but we passed the torch to Riverside, so we will continue to support Tour Day Proviso for many years to come. At the last IML conference, I was elected to serve on the 2021 Board of Directors. So there's about, and so there's about 40 mayors that serve on the Board of Directors for IML. And where I'm most interested in serving at is on the Legislative Committee, because that's where policies take place and how we impact our own community. So I'm looking forward to serving on the Board of Directors. I'm looking forward to serving this region of Chicago as being a board member and bringing the opportunities, not back just to the village of Broadview, because we're gonna always do that first, but to bring it to our region to say, these are things that we need to keep on our radar to make us better municipalities as we look at policies. And so for me, I'm real driven on the policy as it relates to the uniqueness of a home rule versus a non-home rule, how that impacts us on certain issues. And it impacts us on certain issues. So I have a bill that's going into veto session as it relates to gaming. And this is just an example. So right now, because we're a non-home rule community, we can only get $25 per vending machine. Where if we were a homeroom community, we can get up to $1,500 per machine. Is that fair and equity? No. If it's revenue driven, it should be fair across the board, whether you home rule or non-home rule. It doesn't matter. If it's revenue driven, it should be impacted to all. All communities should have the same access. So that's always been my argument, and I was glad when I brought it up in our legislative committee for WCMC, because I'm on the legislative committee with them as well as the executive committee. The executive committee voted for the lobbyists to bring that up for legislation. It passed in the House. It's kind of stagnant on the Senate side, so we still got to make some phone calls to get it passed. But if it passes, it changes from $25 to $250. So that's a big deal for a small community like Broadview. That's a big deal. And so what I've asked finance to do is look at our revenue of gaming revenue that we get in, because we get the reports on what that look like. And we can manage effectively, we can do more, and we should continue to ask for all of it if we can get it. But that's why I like to participate in these boards on different things, because I have a voice, and my voice is for what's best for Broadview. I think that's all that I have for tonight. So I just want to say, that's not all that I have. So I have this letter that was dated to me, and I'm going to read it out loud. And it's bittersweet. And I'll say more after I read it. I've served the village of Broadview since 1981 in many capacities. I've served in the Broadview Fire Department for 32 years, and during that time, I've had the pleasure of working with many good men and women. I was able to work my way through the ranks and served as the fire chief for 16 years. After you were elected as mayor of Broadview, you asked me if I would be able to help you by serving on a committee. I jumped at the chance because I had worked with you on other village projects and knew you were dedicated to getting things done. Fast forward a few years, you asked me to serve on the village board as a vacancy occurred. Again, I jumped at the chance. A choice I never regretted, knowing we both had the same compassion and dedication for Broadview. Looking back, I would never have thought I would be in the position I am today. I feel I was able to make changes for the better in the village of Broadview. I've had the pleasure of working with some wonderful people throughout the village. I've made many lifelong friends and will always keep them in my thoughts. With that being said, it is with mixed emotions that I am submitting my resignation as trustee, effective Friday, October 25th, 2021. It's time for me to start a new chapter of my life. My wife, Polly, and I have purchased a home in Florida, and we'll be looking forward to beginning that journey. I believe with your continued leadership and direction, along with the help of the current board members, Broadview is in good hands for a long time. I am so proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and I know there will still be more to do. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this amazing trip. Broadview Strong. Sincerely, John Tierney, trustee. So I knew this was happening. And John is like a brother. I have so much respect for you. So much. And it goes back to, and I get emotional because it goes back to when I was the director at the Park District. He was the fire chief. And they wanted to do fire training in the pool. I don't know why. But I thought it was a good idea. So they would do some fire drills at the pool for water safety. And so over the years, he's come to retire. And when I first ran, I asked him to run, and he said no, the timing wasn't right. They had just came out of a gruesome campaign. So he said no. And then, so when I became the mayor, I needed to fill all these committees that I didn't know I had to do all this stuff. And so I asked him to serve on the Fire and Police Commission, and he did it, and it made sense because he's a retired fire chief. He knows the ins and outs on how the fire work, and having a relationship with the police department, he got an inside know of how that works as well, so that made sense to me. And then Trustee Brewer passed away while in office, and we had the vacancy, and I called John, and I asked him, I said, John, we have a vacancy. Will you serve as trustee? He said, let me call you back. But he called back, and he accepted the offer. But what I want the community to know is that I don't care if you're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Catholic, Baptist, whatever your denomination, religion may be, I don't see any of that. I don't care what your political party affiliation is. I don't see that. I see what's best for Broadview and what's best for people. And we was running, knocking on doors. I had a resident ask me, is he a Republican? And it kind of shocked me because I don't see that. I just didn't see no party. I just saw his compassion for what's best for Broadview. And so I answered her, I said, yes, he is. I said, but did you know that he served as our fire chief for over 15 years? Did it matter what party he was affiliated with when he worked for the village of Broadview, when it was fires or it was a crisis in Broadview under his watch that he was there? And she said, you know what? I remember that because my house caught on fire and he was the fire chief then. So I said all of that to say is, John, you are truly a stand-up guy.
Thank you.
And so we didn't always, there's been some contentious conversations between us as it relates to taxes and stuff like that.
Political views.
Yeah, because we on opposite sides, but when it came to what's best for Broadview, he did his job. He was committed. And so for that, I'm forever grateful, and we'll always be friends, always. We spend time together. His wife is just a beautiful soul. I mean, she just, I'm just happy that he found love. That's taking you away.
You have to talk to her.
I have. But I'm happy. But it's the time and it's now. So we will have a vacancy on the board. We'll get the information out. Those that are interested in participating of being a board member, we'll get the information out like we did before, and we'll just move forward. But I know that I can always call on Trustee Tierney for a conversation if it's issues with the fire department, because I always call him first. Like, what you think about this? Or, anything, but he's seen a lot in his 32 years of service. So with that being said, we want to honor you at our next board meeting, Trustee, because you are something that all elected officials or those that's considering to go into being an elected official, someone that they can look to on what that looked like and not look at it because of a nationality, a creed, a religion, or a political affiliation. Just the true compassion for people. That's why we serve. It's for the people. It's not about anything else but the people. So with that being said, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly motioned by trustee Miller, seconded by trustee Armour to adjourn the meeting. We'll take a roll call. Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Senior is absent, trustee Armour,
Yes.
trustee Chamalabi. Still with us, trustee Chamalabi?
No, she's not.
She left.
Okay, she's absent. Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this meeting is hereby adjourned at 8:30 PM, 4-0. Thank you all. Have a great evening.